this is your girl Wakeji Kamore, and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. We are currently studying the book of 2 Samuel, which we have been covering chapter by chapter. Today, I'm going to be reading from chapter 19, and afterwards, I will share my main takeout. So please, stay with me until the end, and don't forget to invite a friend to listen by sharing this link. All right, so in the last chapter that we have read is that Absalom has gone after David, and he has died. Unfortunately, he has died in that battle. And King David is very sad. He's very saddened by this. He's just weeping and mourning. That's just what he's doing, weeping and mourning. Anyway, let's just read and see what happens in chapter 19. Word soon reached Joab that the king was weeping and mourning for Absalom. As all the people had the king's deep grief for his son, the joy of that day's victory was turned into deep sadness. They crept back into the town that day as though they were ashamed and had deserted in the battle. The king covered his face with his hands and kept on crying, "Oh, my son Absalom! Oh, Absalom, my son, my son!" Then Joab went to the king's room and said, "We have saved your life today and the lives of your sons, daughters, and your wives and concubines. Yet you act like this, making us feel ashamed of ourselves. You seem to love those who hate you and hate those who love you. You have made it clear today that your commanders and troops mean nothing to you. It seems that if Absalom had lived and all of us had died, you would be pleased. Now go out there and congratulate your troops. For I swear by the Lord that if you don't go out, not a single one of them will remain here tonight. Then you will be worse off than ever before." So the king went out and took his seats at the town gate. And as the news spread throughout the town that he was there, everyone went to him. Meanwhile, the Israelites who had supported Absalom fled to their homes. And throughout all the tribes of Israel, there was much discussion and arguments going on. The people are saying, "The king rescued us from our enemy and saved us from the Philistines, but Absalom chased him out of the country. Now Absalom, who we anointed to rule over us, is dead. Why not ask David to come back and be our king again?" Then King David sent Zadok and Abiathar, the priests, to the elders of Judah, "Why are you the last ones to welcome back the king into his palace? For I have heard all the Israel is ready. You are my relatives, my tribe, my own flesh and blood. So why are you the last ones to welcome back the king?" And David told them to tell Amasa, "Since you are my own flesh and blood, like Joab, may God strike me and even kill me if I don't appoint you as commander of my army in his place." All right, let me tell you guys who Amasa is. Amasa was the commander-in-chief. Okay, not commander-in-chief. The army commander. What am I saying? Commander-in-chief. The army commander of Absalom's army. Joab, on the other hand, was the army commander of David's army. So David is making a promise. Just so that the tribe of Judah accepts him back as king, he's told Amasa, "Wewe, I will make you the commander of the army, and I will replace Joab with you." So do you think Joab is going to be happy with that? No, his Joab is definitely not going to be happy with that. Anyway, verse 14. Then Amasa convinced all the men of Judah, and they responded unanimously. Kai, mimi kizungu is not si lugha changu kabisa. They sent word to the king, "Return to us and bring back all who are with you." So the king started back to Jerusalem, and when he arrived at the Jordan River, the people of Judah came to Gilgal to meet him and escort him across the river. Shimei, son of Gera, the man from Bahurim in Benjamin, hurried across with the men of Judah to welcome King David. You guys remember Shimei? Let me tell you who Shimei is. You remember the guy when David was leaving Israel, or living in Jerusalem, to go mafichoni. There was this guy called Shimei who was standing somewhere on a rock just insulting David. Alimtukana, kamtukana. And then David was like, leave him, don't kill him. And then David was just on his way, just continued on his journey. This guy followed David on a horse or a mule. I don't know what he was riding. Just insulting. Actually, I think he followed them on foot. Just insulting David and insulting David and insulting David. Now, this guy is the first one to go to actually go and greet and welcome King David back. Unaona hizo story. Anyway, let me just continue reading. It says, let me just read that verse 16 again. Shimei, son of Gera, the man from Bahurim in Benjamin, hurried across with the men of Judah to welcome King David. 1,000 other men from the tribe of Benjamin were with him, including Ziba, the chief servant of the house of Saul. Pause there. You know who Ziba is? You guys remember? Ziba was the servant of Saul. Ziba and his children and his slaves were given to be servants of Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth is the son of Jonathan, who was crippled. Huyu Ziba, sazile David alitoroka, and he went mafichoni. He went to David and told David, oh, Mephi amebaki huko, amedecide atakuwa part of Absalom's camp, which was not true. So this guy is here now in this picture. He has come to welcome back David. Vile amezungukwa na watu wabaya tu hapa. Anyway, verse 18 said, they crossed the shallows of Jordan to bring the king's household across the river, helping him in every way they could. As the king was about to cross the river, Shimei, mtu wa matusi, fell down before him. May the Lord King please forgive me, he pleaded. Forget the terrible things your servant did when you left Jerusalem. May the king put it out of his mind. I know how much I sinned. This is why I have come here today, the very first person in all of Israel to greet my Lord the king. Then Abishai, son of Zeruiah, said, Shimei should die, for he cursed the Lord's anointed king. Who asked your opinion, you sons of Zeruiah? David exclaimed, why have you become my adversary today? This is not a day of the execution, for today I am once again the king of Israel. Then turning to Shimei, David vowed, your life will be spared. So right there, David shows kindness to this Jama wa Matusi. Now, Mephibosheth, let's just call him Mehi. Now Mehi, Saul's grandson, came down from Jerusalem to meet the king. He had not cared for his feet, trimmed his beard, or washed his clothes since the day the king left Jerusalem. Oh yeah, this guy was actually really in support of David. Why didn't you come with me, Mephi? The king asked him. Mephi replied, my lord, the king, my servant Ziba deceived me. I told him, saddle my donkey so I can go with the king, for as you know, I am crippled. Ziba had slandered me by saying that I refused to come. But I know that my Lord the king is like an angel of God. So do what you think is best. All my relatives and I could expect only death from you, my Lord. But instead you have honored me by allowing me to eat on your own table. What more can I ask? You said enough, David replied. I have decided that you and Ziba will divide your land equally between you. You guys remember that Ziba was given all the land that Mephi. So initially when Saul died and his other sons died, Ziba took Saul's land. When Mephi came back to the picture, all that land that Ziba had taken had been given to Mephi. And then Ziba went and lied to David that Mephi amebaki huko na Absalom. So David gave Mephi all that land again. Now Mephi has come to say, oh, it's not true. I was deceived. And then this guy Ziba went and slandered me everywhere. So David is like, okay. Gawane ni shamba. Maybe that will stop with the dramas. But Mephi is like, you know what? Give him all that land. I really don't care for it. I am content. Verse 30 says, give him all of it. Mephi said, I am content to just have you safely back again, my lord the king. Barzillai of Gilead. Who is Barzillai? Actually, no, guys, I have to keep stopping to explain, because if I don't do that, you'll get lost, because man majina ni mob. Barzillai is the guy who, when David had been warned to cross over Jordan ndio asikutwe na watu Absalom hapo, Barzillai and his people came and brought them food, goat, sheep, lentil, bosho, sijui nini, hizo vitu zote. And this guy was actually not very young. He's saying he had come down from Rogelim to escort the king across Jordan. He was very old, 80 years of age, and very wealthy. Of course, sasa ndio aletezo vitu zote, si lazima angekuwa wealthy. He was one who had provided food for the king during his stay in Mahanaim. He came across with me. He said, come across with me and live in Jerusalem. The king said to Barzillai, I will take care of you there. No, he replied, I am far too old to go with the king to Jerusalem. I am 80 years old today. I can no longer enjoy anything. Food and wine are no longer tasty. I cannot hear the singers as they sing. I would only be a burden to you, my lord, my king. Just to go across the Jordan River with the king is all the honor I need. Then let me return again to die in my own town, where my father and mother are buried. But here is your servant, my son Kimham. Let him go with my lord the king and receive whatever you want to give him. Good, the king replied. Kingham will go with me, and I will help him in any way you would like, and I will do for you anything you want. So all the people crossed the Jordan River with the king. After David had blessed Birzai and kissed him, Birzai returned to his own home. The king then crossed over Gilgal, taking Kimham with him, and all the troops of Judah and half troops of Israel escorted the king on his way. But all the men of Israel complained to the king. The men of Judah stole the king and didn't give us the honor of helping take you, your whole household, and all your men across Jordan. The men of Judah replied, the king is one of our own kinsmen. Why should this make you angry? We haven't eaten any of the king's food or received any special favors. But there are 10 tribes in Israel. The others replied, so we have 10 times as much right to the king as you. What right do you have to treat us with such contempt? Weren't we the first to speak of bringing him back to be our king again? This argument continued back and forth, and the men of Judah spoke even more harshly than the men of Israel. So hapa kumekuwa na mvurutano. The men of Judah feel because David is from the tribe of Judah that they have more right to honor him and to receive him, to walk around with him, to just associate with themselves as with king. But remember, these other 10 tribes are the ones who said, now that Absalom is dead, can we bring him to be our king? This Judah tribe had to be convinced. Amasa had to be put to become the commander of the army for them to kubali. But here they are, claiming more rights on David. Anyway, that's the end of the chapter. So when Absalom anointed himself king, David left Israel as a desperate fugitive, rejected by the nation and hunted by his own son, Absalom. But now in this chapter, he's come back, escorted by thousands and thousands of enthusiastic supporters. On the way back to Israel, David shows kindness to his subjects. He shows kindness to Shimei, who had previously insulted him. He shows kindness to Mephi, who had been left in Israel helpless. I mean, the guy has not even shaved. Sasa amekaa tu huko, crippled, helpless. And he was deceived by Ziba, and Ziba had also lied about him. But David still shows kindness to him. David shows kindness to Amasa by making him the new commander of army, even if he had been the commander of Absalom's army. David shows kindness to even Ziba, this Ziba guy, because Ziba had deceived David about Mephi and said that Mephi had chosen to remain at Absalom's palace, which was not true. But yet, when he comes, he's just like, imagine the two of you just divide the land. David shows kindness to this 80-year-old man who had brought essential help and supplies to David when he had fled from Jerusalem as Absalom took over the city. as in this whole journey of David coming back home, is a display of God's love and kindness. It's a display of just how kind David was to people who deserved it, to people who did not deserve it, everybody. It was just like, this is a day of celebration, and we are not killing anybody, we are sparing anybody's life, and we are showing kindness to everybody. My prayer and challenge for us is that our lives will be a display of God's love and kindness, in the way that we will treat those that support us, those that have no feelings about us, and most importantly, those that have wronged us, so that we don't feel like they deserve the love and the kindness. I pray that our lives will be a display of love and kindness. In the way that we treat those people, there are those that are fanatics, they support us, they're just like close friends, they are there for us, they're in our corner. There are those that feel nothing about us, they have no opinion, our furahi, our tukasiriki wako tu. And then there are those that actually don't deserve it. You feel like this person wronged me. When I was in my lowest point, now that I'm on my highest point, now he wants to be my friend, that we would show kindness even to those that do not deserve our kindness. This is your girl, Keji Kamore, and this has been Reflections by Keji Kamore. See you tomorrow.